Virulent Wound. Well, we're not going to look at Gift Horse in the mouth. We're going to go ahead and pick it up and just play it. And now we have a choice between Phyrexian Rager, which is going to be pretty good in our 3-color special, or Viridian Claw, which can beef up some of our smaller guys and make them a force in combat. I think I'm just going to take the Phyrexian Rager because it's a more consistent card and because it helps us, keep our hands full of gas and draw us into the cards we need to keep going. So, but I think that that pick could go either way. Here, it's either Priests of Norn or Leonin Skyhunter, and now that our deck is not going to be, well, I don't think Leonin Skyhunter is going to be very good in our deck. The question is whether I'm fine playing it on like turn 3, but it looks like we're gonna actually be like at half and half black, or like mostly black, like 10, 6, and 2 or something on the lands in favor of black, white, red. So that would make any of this, but there's not really much here, so I think I'm just gonna take it. I don't really want the Priests of Norn. And here's another Phyrexian Rager, which we're happy to go ahead and pick up because it's gonna make us more consistent overall. This is a nice little trick with Suture Priest. You get your 1 life back. Let's see. There's really nothing here. Banishment Decree is pretty marginal. Metallic Mastery, also pretty marginal. I'm trying to think of what we could get in the future that will make any of these cards good. I'm just gonna take the Kadoltha Ringleader, even though we're not gonna play it. Silver Skin Armor is pretty terrible. Spire Serpent, all these cards pretty terrible. We'll just take the on-color card and keep passing. There's a Flenser Might, which is an okay sideboard card. There's also the Draw Stripper, this wield. Yeah, that's a pretty good sign for us, so we'll go ahead and grab the Draw Stripper, and I don't feel like losing to the Ardent Recruit deck, so we'll take it. Take the on-color card. Take the Training Drone in case somebody's drafting that one. No reason to give them. It's like Jace's Erasure. Like if somebody's drafting the deck, there's no reason to give them a 14th pick card just because it's terrible. So we're probably not going to play this. Probably not going to play this. We really would like to pick up some decent removal because mostly what we've got is some card draw, card advantage, control-y type stuff, and like some middling creatures, and all our good removal is in red or is conditional, like Virulent Wound and Pith Driller. So I'm really hoping to get like Skin Render. Less greedy would be like Grasp with Darkness, Arrest. Yeah, Nuts removal like Venser's Journal. This pack is just pretty awful, plus Arrest. Tumble Magnet is not something we're interested in because we can't really use the tempo. Arrest is not as good for us as something like Grasp of Darkness would be, I think. But we're still happy first picking it here because we really need some stuff to deal with things with more than 3 toughness or 1 toughness, and Arrest is going to be fine. I feel like with things like Apostle's Blessing and stuff like that, Arrest is actually not as good as it used to be. Like instead of being top tier removal, I think it's like 2nd tier removal, but I mean removal's removal, and we're not going to complain. Perilous Mirror is also a decent card. Hopefully the Blister Grub wheels and we can get it for our sideboard, but this pack looks pretty empty, so our next pick out of this is probably not going to be a playable. And there's the Skin Render we wanted. Somebody took a rare out of this pack, so it doesn't mean they didn't take a black card. But we're not gonna, again, we're not gonna complain. We're just gonna take our Skin Render and be happy. Unlike the last pack, there's a lot of great cards in this pack. We would be happy to wheel an Origin Spellbomb, or even maybe like a Flameborn Hellion. But yeah, we're just gonna grab the Skin Render. What do I have that can roll with a Necrotic Ooze? I can have it become a Pristine Talisman if the Pristine Talisman were to die somehow. That's pretty hot. Draw Stripper, not a whole lot going on. So we've got actually a lot of options. There's a lot of great cards for us in this pack. Ledimir helps us accelerate our mana and goes well with like the Pristine Talisman to get us to our 4s and 5s. We do have a lot of 3s, so it's not necessarily that awesome. Fume Spitter is good with Remember the Fallen, and it's just good, but we already have a Virulent Wound, which does kind of the same thing, and Pith Driller also does this, like the spot removal trick. So I'm less inclined to take that than I am something like Razor Hippogriff. Although then again, we don't really have a whole lot of artifacts. It's close, but I think I'm going to take the Flyer just because it's always good as a flyer and can really help us get some value if like our Pith Driller dies, or if we trade off a Dross Ripper or something like that. Here okay, so what are we really interested in right now? We're interested in any kind of removal we can get, obviously. I'm really leaning towards taking the Flesh Allergy out of this pack because we have the Splicers, which are ideal for throwing, and like the Phyrexian Ragers, which are okay value for tossing, and we also have Remember to Fallen to get back whatever we ditched. The other thing we could do is take the Origin Spell Bomb, which is pretty good value with the Hippogriff, pretty good early game cycles for us, keeps us moving along mana wise. It's close, but since we're still a little bit removal light, I think I'm going to take the Flesh Allergy and play it. And of course, as soon as I do that, we get a Revoke Existence, which I'm happy to run, because Revoke Existence is actually like all the black removal we have targets creatures, and so if our opponent has something like Trigon of Corruption or Batterskull or something like that, it's nice to have an out. I mean, it's a Revoke Existence. I don't think it needs serious explanation. So we could take an equipment here, or we could hate a card. There were a couple of Shikaris, and we do have a Necropouncer, so if one of those wheels, we could find our way to... I think Bladed Pinions is much too slow for our deck, so it's basically whether we want to take Sylvok Lifestaff or hate the Untamed Might, because against Infect, most of our removal is sorcery speed like this or this. I just think hating Untamed Might is pretty bad, and we're just going to take the Lifestaff. We may not even run it, but that's a really late Barrage Ogre, but I don't think we have the ammunition to really abuse it. We only have 2 equipments. We could grab a Shikari. It wouldn't be the worst, especially because there isn't really anything in particular in this pack that this is pretty good. Anything in this pack that we're too worried about. I think our deck's blind spot is really going to be other Infect decks, because I feel like we can grind out just about anybody. So we'll take this because at the very least it's a 2/2 for 2, and we can use that. There's not really much for us here. We do have a Blister Grub, although I think I'm probably going to get one out of the next pack, which is our original pack. We could hate the Furnace Celebration, but I feel like if somebody was building it, this wouldn't have gotten to us since everybody's had a shot at this pack. Liquid Metal Coating doesn't do anything for us, so let's just grab and hide the Blister Grub. And the Blister Grub did not wheel. But Corrupted Harvester is actually not the worst. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's pretty close to the worst, but it's the most playable thing out of this pack. And there's nothing here. I didn't see any heavy Arbalists that would make this a concern. Yeah, let's take the foil because it's foil. This could be okay in our sideboard against a really, really aggressive red-white Metalcraft deck. And another one of those Shikari's wheeled, so that worked out fine. And Aurak Replica's fine against Infect. And do I want this card clogging up my collection? No. Okay, so I don't know what out of all this I'm going to play. It looks like splashing the red is going to be pretty difficult, but we'll get to deck building now and see